All right. Well, I know we are a couple minutes past the hour, so I will go ahead and kick us off and then hand it over to Shane from the Enterprise team to give a quick update on enterprise organizations. So welcome, and I will let you take it away, Shane.
Thanks, I appreciate it. So I'm Shane Baker. For those who aren't familiar, an enterprise service specialist. So just want to give you a couple updates that we've got going for July. We have 4 new organizations that have joined us. So Sanford Health, located in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They're starting with 38 members already, which is awesome, but expecting around 200 total as they start to build out that roster. This will impact the South Dakota chapter mainly. And then we were looking, they're very well represented already at the chapter level within leadership. So I'm excited to see that too. We have Cook County Health located in Chicago. They're just in the really early stages of onboarding, so we're not 100% on what their roster size will look like, but they're starting with 6 members, and this will impact the first Illinois chapter. Texas Tech, located in Lubbock, has 17 original members, but expected to grow to just about 100 or so, and that'll impact the Lone Star chapter. And then Gifford Medical Center, it's a critical access hospital located in Randolph, Vermont. So they'll impact the Northern New England chapter. We do have 2 renewals already completed for this month, Maine Rural Health and Northern Light Health. So that's about all I have for updates on Enterprise. Is there any questions or anything I can answer for any of you? No? Okay. Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Shane. All right. Well, the main event for today is we're going to learn all about HFMA communities, and we have our community manager, Melanie, joining us today. So thank you for joining, Melanie. And she's going to share her screen, but we have, we'll just kind of do a demo of the community groups. And I know a lot of you are familiar with those, whether the Leadership Connection group or if you're a member of another community group, because there are a lot of them. But we'll just kind of give an overview of all of that. And please feel free to either unmute and ask a question anytime or type it in the chat too if you'd rather do that. So with that, I will hand it over to you, Melanie.
Thank you, and thanks for having me. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, hopefully you're all seeing our homepage of HFMA. Okay, great. So as Brianna mentioned, I'm Melanie Binder. I'm the community manager. I also am working with some of our executive councils as well. Just a little bit about me. I've been at HFMA for just over 3 years now. I was brought in as the community manager. We did not have a community platform prior to that. I've been a community manager before for another nonprofit organization. I spent 7 years there building and managing a global community for the international plant sciences. And so then I came over to HFMA. I was really excited to kind of take what we were already doing with listservs and bring it some new, more interactive tools, and just a way for us to kind of get more engaged with each other, build a really strong peer-to-peer network, and be available in a private space for our members, 24/7 whenever they needed some resources to be able to ask questions. So that's a little bit of the background of why we had the community. Again, it was a migration from some existing listservs that we had. And again, we wanted a better way to inform, educate, keep our members connected, and do this all in a private, safe, virtual space. We started with 4 public groups, and I think 2 private groups, and now we have over about 150 groups. And just so you know, when we launched this, we brought over about just a little less than 400 people from our original listservs. This has grown over the past 3 years to over 7,600 members just in our public groups. Most of those 150 groups are private groups. We have groups for our executive councils. You're familiar with our chapter leadership groups for every region, every area, plus our Leadership Connection group. We've got some other private spaces as well. And again, as we've seen our membership grow, we've seen interest in our community grow as well. And just since we've launched, we've had over 25 discussions started with over 5,200 replies. So we've really seen some nice progression in the community. We've seen the reasons why people are coming to it. And, we'd like to educate more people about how to use them, the benefits of using it as well. So for those of you that have not explored the community yet, to get in the community, you want to go to our landing page at hfma.org. Make sure you're logged in. Once you're logged in this navigation bar, you're going to go ahead and click on community. And that should take you right into the community. You can access the community platform without being logged in, but you'll see some of these options, but you won't have the full set of options that you should have as a paid member. And again, our community is only and the full benefit of it for our paid members. We do have some areas for our guest members to learn about HFMA as an organization and also learn about our certifications. Other than that, most of what you see is just available to our paid membership. And that's one of the benefits that we offer. So once we're on our landing page, you'll see some menu items at the top, and I'll just go through and highlight them. My groups are groups that you have joined or you've been added to. A lot of you have been added to chapter leadership groups or a group like Leadership Connection, or maybe even some of the subgroups that we have. So if you're ever looking to see what groups you're a member of, whether you've joined them or whether we've added you, just go ahead and click on My Groups, and that'll bring that up. And you can see just a brief description of some of the activity in that group. For our full list of groups available for you to join, you'll see that under All Groups. So any of these groups you're able to join. You can also join them and leave them. We have a second page here, as you need to. Okay. And then we have our membership directory. And this will be where you can connect with all of our members across HFMA. So say you wanted to find me very quickly and connect with me or see more about where I work at, you can contact me here. If you'd like to look up people just by organization or organization type, we wanted to see what law firms were in here. For some reason, I'm not getting any results.
Are we supposed to be seeing the screen? I'm sorry, Melanie. It's Melissa. Maybe it's just my computer, but I'm not seeing what you're doing there on screen.
You able to see it?
No, am I the only one?
I can see it. Sometimes it opens in a separate window, so you might have
Okay.
something. It might be behind. Try doing like Alt Tab through all your open windows.
Awesome. Thank you.
So again, there's different ways that you can use the filters to find people that you might be looking for or looking to connect. We can narrow this down a little bit if we want to, once you do an initial search. So I just wanted to show you about our member directory and how to use it. And does anybody have any questions about this? Okay. We also have our posted community guidelines. I always recommend that any of our members, new or existing, please take a minute to just review our community guidelines about that as well. And we also have community FAQs, which this is where I'm going to spend a little bit of time because I think there's a lot of really helpful information here. I'm going to cover a lot in the call, and a lot of it is in the community FAQs, but I just wanted to show you that if you open up all these tabs right here, you can really kind of find some information that you might have questions about or how to use it. Or if you're going to be talking to members in your chapters, this is a good place to send them to as a reference on how to get started with community, or simply they'd like to manage their notifications or you would like to manage your notifications. So a lot of this information is already located here, just as a quick reference for you as well. So I'm going to go back to our main page and I'm going to give you just a live demo of some of these. When you're on our main landing page, again, you can access a bunch of information right up here or down here. This is a little area of what's trending now. Here's some most popular tags that we're using. And then you'll have recent community activity, and this will be in chronological order. And this activity stream is going to show you information from our public groups, plus also private groups that you're a member of. So if there's anything that you are a member of, like Leadership Connection, that'll pull on this information as well, and it's just going to do it in chronological order. So there is some customization here for all of our membership, just based off of what groups they've joined and what they're a member of. We do have some AI working here, so it might recommend people that you know. And I think there's also a feature that'll recommend articles for you based off of things that you've clicked on or things that you've searched for. We do have a pretty extensive search. Speaking of that, I'll just show you how that works. If I wanted to try and find items about price transparency. See. So if you do type in a keyword about price transparency, it's going to pull back all the results, and it'll also show you what's in a forum, what might be a calendar event. We might have a webinar coming up, a blog post, or a group, so you can kind of narrow it down a little bit more if you'd like to. So that's just kind of a quick way. You can also go to an advanced search, and you can use these filters on the side too, just to kind of narrow down your search. That's one quick way to search just across the entire platform for articles of, discussions that might be of interest to you. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about all groups. And if you haven't discovered yet, this is where the selection of groups that are available for you to just go ahead and self-select. Let's go to Legal and Regulatory Forum. If I'm interested in joining that and I'm not already a member of it, I simply go over here, click on join. So I've joined this group. And if at any point I'd like to leave the group, I'm just going to go back to that group and click on leave. And again, you're free to join a group, leave a group whenever you need to. And, if I wanted to see what discussions were being posted, I can go here. We have a lot of different filters that you can use to find the information you're looking for. Recent discussions, unread, ones you participated in, ones you started in. You can filter it this way, or you can also use these filters as well. So there's a really easy way to kind of narrow things down so you can find what you're looking for. And let's say this is something I am able to comment on. I would go to this existing discussion. I click on reply. I can post my reply. I can put in links to articles here, images. There's a lot you can do. I'm not going to post anything because this is live, but this is how I'll do it. And there's just some basic editing tools right here. If you'd like to insert a link, you would click on insert, and that's where you can find the ability to insert a link or an image, and an emoji if you wanted to, but there's some basic editing tools just available right here. Okay, and then of course, if you do post something and you'd like to delete it, if you're the author of it, you can go ahead and do that. If you click on more and it's somebody else's post, you can report it if it's not appropriate. You can also mute this particular discussion or turn reply notifications off just for these particular discussions. So I just wanted to point that out as well. Talking about discussions, if you're ever in a group and you find that you're just getting too many notifications, and then we deal with this, a lot with other platforms that we're members of, we've got a lot coming out to us. You will get the instant notifications of our discussions. You can either mute an individual discussion. You can also elect to subscribe to one of our digests, and you can subscribe to a daily digest or a weekly digest, and that'll send you all the information in a particular group, either once a day or once a week. So the way you subscribe to that for the discussions is you click on turn your forum notifications off, and then you go back to the home page of this particular group, and you select email digest options, and then daily or weekly. So you can really customize this as much as you want to. You can set this up for any group that you're a member of, whether it's a group we've put you in because of your role as a chapter leader, or it's a group that you've opted yourself into. The Leadership Connection group, Brianna, I think we have that set up on Weekly Digest.
Yes.
Yes, so you will get that. I believe the Weekly Digest is set to send every Friday morning, so you're already subscribed to that. But if you feel like you'd like to receive something more often, if you click on not subscribe, then it will be as it happens notifications. Click on daily, it'll be once a day. It usually gets sent out about the middle of the day. And again, if you have any questions about how to set this up after the call, you can feel free to contact me, or you can look at the community FAQs, and that'll have some more details about this as well. But I just wanted to point that out. And again, there's some other options here to bookmarking the group. And when you're in the group, if you'd like to find other members in any of the groups, we have the same options for all of our public groups. You can scroll through. All of our groups, when you're in this screen, are alphabetical by first name. So I just wanted to point that out, how that works. So you can connect with people that way. If you go to library, and this is for any group, you'll see documents that are in the library, and there's some sorting functionality right there. And you can also look at calendar. So in our private chapter groups, there are calendars that you can use for administrative purposes. We don't, here's some information on the calendars here up through June. And these are what I use this calendar for, is I post our HFMA webinars that might be of interest to anybody in any group. So on our public groups, it's going to be the same calendar, but in our private groups, that's customized to just what's happening in that group. It's a good way for the chapter leadership to use it if they'd like to have a calendar for all their calls or all their events. You can, use that for administrative reasons for your planning, if you'd like to do that as well. And you can actually have multiple calendars in a group if you ever wanted to. So there's actually, for our chapter leaders, there's really a lot of ways to use the community. You can kind of customize it a little bit to what you as chapter leaders would like in your individual group. But, as a standard kind of setup out of the box, it all kind of has the same options. And then this is our tags that are just in our group, the most used ones. And if there were to be any subgroups for this legal and regulatory forum or for your chapter leadership group, you would click on that, and that would bring up the subgroups just for this particular group. And I think I can show you that in Leadership Connection if you haven't seen that. Let me just go back to that. Actually, we don't have subgroups here. No, okay. But that's where it would be. It will either be listed here or it would be listed up top here. And in Leadership Connection, if you haven't explored this in detail, there's two threads here, one for updates for HFMA and best practices discussion. They're both discussion threads. We've just been able to label them something differently. So we thought that would be beneficial for this group to discuss it. And we can do the same with your chapter leadership groups as well. So for our private groups, if there is some customization that you're interested in, feel free to contact one of, our chapter leader staff at HFMA or me, and we can discuss it. And I can always let you know what the options are to kind of help you achieve your goals by using the community platform. Okay, I'm just going to go back to our homepage. Does anybody have any questions? Brandon, is there anything in the chat yet?
Nothing in the chat.
Okay. I'm just going to go to a group, and this is one of our most popular groups lately, is the No Surprises Act. If you have any questions about the No Surprises Act forum, I would definitely highly recommend joining this group and following it. There's a lot of good information. This is one of our largest groups that we've seen. People join really quickly, especially after we had a bunch of No Surprises workshops. And all the people that attended the No Surprises workshops are in this group, plus additional people. So if you have any questions about the No Surprises Act, or you have colleagues that do, or you have chapter, if you're having a chapter meeting and you want to discuss No Surprises Billing Act, this is a great reference. The default notifications for this group are set to Daily Digest because sometimes there is a lot of information and there are a lot of questions and answers. So to kind of minimize the email delivered to our members, we did set this up for Daily Digest, but again, you can manage the notification settings from that point. I'm just going to join this group, and I'm just going to start a quick discussion. I'm just not going to post it. To start a new discussion in any group, you click on the plus new button, and I'm going to start a discussion. If I had a question right here, I would post the subject, then my description. And if there's something specific in the No Surprises Act, I'm going to want to make sure I tag it. That's going to help other members and even yourself find this a little bit better. You can see there are already tags of what other people have used. So I can either type in a tag, which I'll show you. If I start typing one in, that tag might already be used in another post in this group. So I could just go ahead and click on it. And that'll just add the tags. And that's going to be really helpful when we have hundreds of discussions in the group. That just really helps our members manage it and find what they're looking for. So that's the benefit of tagging. It just really helps with that search. I'm just going to close these out. But again, we have all the same editing tools right here. And again, tagging is really important. And that, I've already talked about,
We do have a few questions
okay.
that I'd let you answer them now. So most, or a couple of them are about the subgroups.
Mhm.
And do the subgroups content roll up to the main group it's under, or are the articles, discussions, library calendar, etc. only viewed in the subgroup?
So in your private groups, it can roll up to the activity stories. We call it an activity story stream. I think I can have that included in it when I'm setting a group up. I'd have to look at that option, but I believe we can do that.
Mm-hmm. So, and one of the things that I was going to mention with the subgroups, you don't have to be a member of the main group to be a member of the subgroup.
Right.
So if you were a member of the main group, but not the subgroup, even if Melanie set it up so that all of the content kind of went into the digest on the homepage, you wouldn't see content for a group that you're not a member of. So if you're not a member of the subgroup, you're not going to see that information roll up, and kind of vice versa. If you're not a member of the main group, but you're a member of the subgroup, you're not going to see the main group's information.
Correct.
There's also a question about, can you review folder structure, uploading documents, and overwriting those documents that exist?
Sure. Yep, I can do that. And just one thing I wanted to mention, when you're doing any editing or when you're posting anything, you can mention members. So say you have a question for somebody and you'd like to tag them. If you start typing in their name, of course, it's not going to behave for me because I'm doing a live demo. Here we go. You can tag anybody in a conversation, and that will send them an email that they've been tagged in the conversation. So say you have questions for some other members or some other chapter leaders that may be able to answer it, or they may have the resources you're looking for. You can tag a bunch of people on a discussion as well to just get their attention on it for it. So I think the question was about folders, correct?
Yep, folders, and then uploading documents to the folders.
Okay, so Brianna, I'm going to use, do you have a lot of documents in Leadership Connection?
There are a few, yeah.
All right, let me go to that. I'm actually not an admin account. I'm just using a regular member account for this demo. So that would be most helpful. Yes, okay. So these are for the platform we work on. This is kind of the media gallery. And what we've done is created a structure to be used to mimic folders, such as these are all the documents around the leadership training conference, chapter operations, and so on and so forth. There's a little bit of customization we can do with this and different layouts, but this is one that we thought was most helpful. So if we're talking about this leadership training conference, and let's say, this is in your chapter leadership group and you'd like to add some documents to that, and this folder is already established, if you open it up and you click on plus new, you'll be able to upload a file from your computer just by clicking on it. So I can click on any of these and it'll attach the file, the document. We really do this system. One of the things I like about the platform we used is all commonly used formats and sizes are able to be uploaded, whether it's a PowerPoint, whether it's a recording, a transcript, a PDF. There really are not very many limitations that we found. So if for some reason you're having a problem uploading a file, please let me know, because we've kind of kept this as open as possible so you wouldn't get any errors. Occasionally it does happen, And, I can do a little research and dig into it, but we really have all commonly accepted forms of files and documents we should be able to use. And then again, you just want to name this, put a description in here. I would definitely use tagging. I really think that helps a lot. Like, again, this is LTC 2022. When someone's doing a search for documents, if they just click on that tag, it'll bring up everything with that information in it, and then you just click on post. So that should cover how to upload a document. Now that's a document. Again, I'll show you how it looks once it's uploaded. So we're going to go to this presentation, and I'm going to want to download it so I can view it. And then I open that file on my desktop. So from here, we're going to be in view mode. If I'm the owner of this and I had changes to this document, I wouldn't be able to make the changes right here. What I would do is make the changes on my desktop. And then I would go under more here would be an edit option. And I would turn on an edit. Yeah, I'd go to the edit. And then I would re-upload a new document, a new version of it. So if you wanted to replace a version of something that exists because you've made some edits, that's how you want to do it. Or you can also upload another version. And what I would do is, if you're uploading a new one because there's a new version, you just want to maybe note that in the title that it's version 2 or version thing or version 3. We don't really have versioning like you're going to see in some other contemporary tools like Google Docs. I would hope that's maybe coming in the future. I really don't know of a community platform that does that very successfully. I think that's something that our vendors are working towards. So that's what I can recommend. Like if you're going to have different versions of something in the same folder, is just to note it in the title or, somewhere in there that's, this is the new version. So there's kind of 2 ways to accomplish that if you have any edits to some existing documents. So help answer the question?
I think so. There's a question about, let's see. Is there any plan to be able to do subfolders? And is there a way to sort documents by date or alpha? I think you can do both, right?
So yes, we don't have subfolders, but the best tip I can give you for subfolders is to use tagging. Because if you're in here, let me go to Leadership Connection, let's say, and you go to tags, you can click on a tag and that will bring up everything that is using that tag. So I think that's probably the most helpful thing to do is to use tagging as kind of a subfolder because right now our platform doesn't have subfolders. A lot of our community managers across a lot of associations have talked to them about the ability of building towards that. We'd like to see subfolders as well. Right now, our media files don't have that. So what you can do is we can create another structure, or like I said, I would use tagging to kind of create that experience for subfolders. There's really no limitation in the amount of folders that you can have in this group, in any group. It's really about how you'd like to structure it.
All right, thank you. And then there's a question about the ability to create their own folders in the in their chapter groups, and that is functionality we can provide. What we found from most chapters is they don't want to be able to have that burden, so it's been easier for us to just do it. But if that is something your chapter wants to be able to do, let us know and we can help connect the dots there.
Yes, because we want to just maybe do just a couple-minute training on that, just to show you how to create those folders. It's in an administrative panel that then you would have access to. So we would just want to, provide you with some documentation and do just a brief overview. So you know the different layouts and how to actually, go ahead and add, remove, delete, edit, things like that, and name the folders. But it is available. We'd love to hear the ideas about how you would like to use our media galleries. This is the way we're using them now. But, based off of your ideas and your feedback, we can, customize this journey as much as possible within the system that we use.
All right. And then there's a question about the access to the chapter groups. And right now that access, the automatic part of that is for the officers and the board members. So if you have folks that are not one of those roles that you want to have access, we can manually do that. And then if for some reason you're noticing that someone doesn't have access that should, just send an email to the chapter email address, the chapter@hfma.org, and we can check into that.
Exactly.
And then Melanie, there was just a question about interest in setting up a private group.
And would that be a private group separate than the chapter leadership group?
Yes.
Okay, what type of private group? Or just
It just says, you mentioned private groups. How do we create one? I'd like to hear more about private groups.
Sure.
Does each chapter have one created? And if so, how do we use?
So yeah, that's a great question. So the chapter leadership for each area has a private group. Maybe it will be helpful. Let me sign out of my member account. I'll go into my admin account because I mentioned we do have about 150 groups. And, you know, really it's a matter of contacting me or somebody on our internal chapter team to let them know what you'd like a private group for. We do have some that already exist. A lot of it is for our executive councils, our chapter leadership, our regional leadership. So what we'd like to see before we launch any private groups is how are you going to use it? You know, is there already a space that exists for that? Or is it something we need to create? Who's going to be in it? You know, what's the activity level is going to be? So we just do a little bit of vetting before we jump into it. But we do have some set up for executive councils. We do have some set up for workshops that we've done as well. So here's one of our executive council groups. They're going to look very similar. To show you this real quick, they're going to look very similar to the layout and everything. It's going to be very similar to what you see in our public group. But again, a lot of these areas are customizable with information that we can put in there. We can also scale back on some of these options. So we can definitely tailor this to whatever the needs are. So if you have an idea of a private group that would be helpful to you, please let us know and then we can discuss what the options are. So I know we've discussed before, it's come to our attention that there might be some chapters that would like a private group for their chapter membership. Again, some of the things we want to make sure is that how are you going to use the group? What are going to be the discussions in it? Really what we'd like to see our private groups do are discuss things that really need to truly be in a private space, not something that might be for the denials management forum or the revenue cycle forum that all members can benefit from. So again, those are just some of the questions that we ask when, you know, we're approached about launching a new private group. So I can put my email address in the chat, actually. Can't get to the chat right now. Let's see, chat. So if you do have anything that you'd like to discuss as far as private group and more details, just reach out and let me know. And we'll definitely, you know, I could definitely show you the options for that as well. So were there any other questions?
That's it right now, unless if anyone else has something, feel free to either unmute or type in the chat.
Well, you guys are thinking about that. I'm just going to show you a little bit more about your settings and your profile. So one of the things I really recommend, and I would recommend for all of our members, is to make sure their profile picture is there. Really helps identify people. When other members want to connect with you, to make sure they have the right person. You'd be surprised at the duplication of names that we have. With, you know, we're probably closing on about 90,000 members in our membership. So it really helps people connect with each other. And you can go to your profile from your avatar right here. You can click on edit HFMA profile. That'll take you to another screen where you can edit all of your personal information plus your profile picture. And this is where, again, you've seen this before, accessing my chapter, your founders points, your transactions, and your membership. It'll take you into the screen and you can go ahead and edit your profile. And once you do that, that'll sync over. It might take about 24 hours to sync over to the community platform, but you'll see those changes reflected on the community platform. I'm going to go ahead and go back into the community. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to the profile. Again, this is just more of an information screen. It's not where you can make your edits and changes. So if there are any edits or changes that you needed to make to personal information or organization information, you're going to want to go to your HFMA profile. You can find people that you're friends with here. And you can also find your activity. So anything that you've posted. Mine's a little unruly because I'm in the community all the time. But you can find if you've been mentioned. So you can just kind of explore all these options right here. I'm gonna go back to profile. One of the things I also want to do is show you settings. As I showed you settings about the digest, I'm showing you an admin view, so there's a little bit more here that you might not actually see, but you'll see some options here. But I want to show you email digest. You can set up email digest here as well. So if you ever see not subscribed, that means you're subscribed to as it happens notifications. You can always switch that to daily or weekly. But you're going to want to go into the discussion forums and unsubscribe from the discussion forum if you do that as well. So just find that particular group and just make sure you unsubscribe from that discussion forum. You can also customize your notifications here as well. So you can always take a couple minutes and go through these. They're pretty detailed. The default is set to all. But if you haven't taken a look at this, you can take a quick look. Again, it's fairly detailed. You can unselect or go back and select whenever you want. This is available for you to kind of customize your journey as you see fit. Okay. Are any other questions about community or anything else I can answer today?
There's nothing else in the chat, but
Okay.
I think that was very incredibly helpful. I'll
I
speak for everyone else, but I think that was a really great overview, and hopefully everyone else felt that way too. But if not, if you have any questions, just let us know right now, or feel free to follow up with us via email too if you think of anything.
Well,
Brianna, the one thing that as I watch this, and by the way, Melanie, very well done, thank you.
Sure.
Is any of our enterprise members, this might be as you're getting them indoctrinated as to what HFMA is about. I think this would be something great to also include, because probably most of the new enterprise members don't even know it exists. So just a thought there.
And that's one of the things I was going to mention. Thank you for bringing that up. If there's any resources I can provide to you, or if you're having a meeting and you'd like me to come do, something similar to this, maybe even on a smaller scale, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to give you, some slide set to a PowerPoint. We'd like to reach more members too, to have them join these groups. These groups are very informative. We're trying to keep them up to date, like with the No Surprises Act, on the latest information and the best practices. I think it's a great tool to answer a lot of questions, or to get your questions answered. And really, the more members and the more expertise we have in here, the stronger the community ends up being for all of us. And that's really what we've been building towards. And we've seen that trend in the direction. And, if our members are looking for information above and beyond, what we're doing on our website, the community is a great place to, ask those questions. And it also really informs us as an organization, or what are our members interested in learning more about? Where are the gaps? What kind of information do they need? What guidance are they looking for? So it really kind of helps inform us and our content team as well. Like, well, we really need these resources. This is creating a lot of chatter in the community. And again, the more voices we have in here, just the stronger of a tool it really is for all of us as a benefit. So if there's any resources I can provide, or come to a meeting, I'm happy to do that. Just reach out and let me know. And thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Melanie. Yeah, I was just going to echo what you said about the more people, the better, because, even I'm a member of I think I've joined the open forum and a couple other groups, and I always love seeing when people post a question and there's a bunch of people that jump on board and help answer those questions. And that's the point of a community group, just kind of like a LinkedIn or another social type of group like that. But
Anna, it's Melissa. I have a question. I've actually heard some folks, and I think my work email address does this too, but when we're going in and setting the reminders and the communication standards, and then we're still not getting the notifications, I think some of our enterprise or work emails are blocking them out as spam. Is there a way that we can have 2 email addresses to drive some of this on the Leadership Connection points, or does it all drive from our whatever attached to our HFMA account? Do you know?
so it would be whatever's attached to your HFMA account that those notifications go to, I believe. Do you know anything different, Melanie?
I believe you should be able, I'm going to go to my profile on the edit screen.
Okay.
I think you can edit that information in here because I know we do have, people in a similar situation. Sometimes we do ask an organization to whitelist the community,
Mhm.
email address.
Yeah.
But if you look here,
Mhm.
you can change your primary email address
Okay.
as well as a recovery email address.
Okay.
Okay. So if it's being blocked by your organization, and it's not an issue where it's not a situation where we can ask them to whitelist it. You
Mhm.
can change your primary email address to a personal one where you can receive it.
Gotcha. Okay. That's helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Super helpful. Thank you, Melanie.
Sure. Well, thank you again for having me. And again, if there's questions afterwards, please feel free to reach out.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining today. And if you have any follow-up questions, like Melanie said, either reach out to her or feel free to reach out to the chapter email address as well, that chapter@hfma.org. So with that, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you next month. And next month's topic is going to be all about Founders Awards and Founders Points. So more fun data stuff. But have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank
everyone. Thank
you.
you.